They say the sea remembers what men forget. It remembers screams swallowed by the waves, ships torn apart by storm and steel, and the names of those who stained its waters with blood. Among those names, one echoes louder than all the rest: Edward Teach. But the world didn't come to fear the name Edward. Born Edward Teach, or perhaps Thatch, little is certain about the early life of Blackbeard. He emerged from the chaos of the Caribbean Wars, hardened and hungry for more than mere survival. He wanted power, and he took it. By 1717, Blackbeard commanded the Queen Anne's Revenge, a captured French vessel bristling with 40 cannons. But it wasn't just the firepower that made him infamous. It was him, towering, fearsome, and theatrical. He wove slow-burning fuses into his great black beard, lighting them before battle, shrouding his face in smoke. To his enemies, he seemed less man and more demon. Blackbeard rarely needed to spill blood. His image alone was often enough to force surrender. But when necessary, he was brutal. Those who resisted faced no mercy, marooned, murdered, or worse. His ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, was a fortress of fear. A captured French slaver outfitted with 40 cannons, more than most warships. She tore through the Caribbean like a wolf among sheep. When her sails appeared on the horizon, entire crews surrendered without a fight. The smart ones, anyway. But sometimes, Blackbeard didn't want a clean victory. Sometimes he let the fear rot slowly in their bones. He would chase ships for hours, letting them glimpse salvation on the edge of the horizon, and then drag them screaming into his guns. Once, off the coast of South Carolina, he did something no pirate dared. He blockaded the entire port of Charleston. For nearly a week, he trapped every ship inside the harbor. Trade ground to a halt. Panic spread like wildfire. And what did he demand? Not gold. Not silver. Medicine. His men were sick, rotting from the inside with disease. So he threatened to burn the city to ash unless they delivered what he needed. They did. And when he got what he wanted, he released the hostages and sailed away. No blood. No fire. Just a whisper in the wind: Blackbeard was here. It wasn't just about plunder. It was about power. But power is a heavy crown. And Blackbeard wore his loosely. He split his crew, ran his ship aground off the coast of North Carolina, and disappeared into the marshes like smoke into the sky. There, he found an unlikely ally, the governor of North Carolina. Some say he bribed him. Others say he charmed him. Either way, he secured a royal pardon, a legal absolution for his crimes. For a moment, the monster became a man again. But monsters don't stay buried. Blackbeard returned to piracy. Quietly at first. Smuggling. Raiding small ships. Slipping through the cracks of the colonial world like a ghost through floorboards. But whispers traveled faster than sails. The British Crown had had enough. Virginia's governor sent Lieutenant Robert Maynard to hunt him down. Maynard wasn't a pirate. He wasn't a hunter. But he was ambitious. And he was armed. Maynard found Blackbeard off Ocracoke Island in November of 1718. The night was still. The moon hung low. Blackbeard's men were ashore, drinking. Laughing. But the next morning brought blood. Maynard approached under false colors, hiding his men below deck. When Blackbeard moved to board him, Maynard sprung the trap. A thunderclap of muskets and pistols. Cutlasses rang out. Men screamed. The sea churned red. Blackbeard fought like something unholy. He was shot 5 times. Slashed over 20. Yet still he swung his sword, still he snarled through blooded teeth, still he drove men back with sheer presence alone. It took 5 men to bring him down. When he finally fell, his body hit the deck like a felled tree, still twitching, still refusing death. Maynard cut off his head and hung it from the bowsprit like a lantern. They threw his body into the sea. Some say it swam around the boat 3 times before it sank. The Queen Anne's Revenge was left behind, swallowed slowly by the sea, but Blackbeard was never buried. Not truly. the stories didn't end. They grew. Sailors whispered of seeing him in the fog, walking the deck of a ship with no flag. Smoke still curling around his face. Eyes burning like coals. Searching the waves for his missing head. Others say that on stormy nights, when the wind dies and the ocean holds its breath, you can hear the sound of boots on the deck of an invisible ship. A voice calling out in a language no longer spoken. A curse that never lifted. Blackbeard is dead. They say that with certainty. But the sea does not forget. And sometimes, if you listen close enough, neither do the dead. And so ends the tale of Blackbeard, pirate, captain, monster, myth. His body may have fallen beneath the waves over 300 years ago, but his name endures like a scar carved into the skin of history. He was more than a man. He was fear given form, chaos wrapped in smoke, and power unleashed in a world built on fragile rules. He reminded the empires of the sea that no flag is permanent, and no king is safe. They tried to erase him. Cut off his head. Burn his ships. Seal his name in polite history books. But legends like Blackbeard don't rot in coffins. They drift. They haunt. They wait. And now, centuries later, his ghost still sails. Not on the ocean. But in our stories. In every whispered tale told by firelight. In every creaking floorboard on a stormy night. In every shadow that seems to move when the wind howls from the east. The sea may forget 1,000 names. But not his. Not Blackbeard. If this tale gripped your soul, if it stirred something in your bones, then you've only scratched the surface. Subscribe to this channel to uncover more lost legends, dark histories, and whispered horrors from the corners of time. Like the video if Blackbeard's ghost earned your respect, or your fear. And ring the bell so you never miss what's waiting in the shadows. Because we're not done. The sea is vast. The past is deeper than we know. And this channel is just getting started. New stories are already rising from the depths. More monsters. More mysteries. More forgotten horrors that refuse to stay buried. Until next time. Keep your sails trimmed. Keep your blade close. And whatever you do, don't follow the lights in the fog. They say it's just the moon on the waves. But maybe, just maybe, Blackbeard's still out there. Waiting.